Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into another fascinating corner of the e-commerce world.
Always ready to explore.
Awesome. Today, we're going to tackle headless e-commerce CMS development.
Oh, yeah. That's a hot topic.
It is, and luckily, we've got this in-depth guide from 2025 to break it all down. Think of it as our roadmap to the future of online business.
Sounds like we're in for a treat. So what's the mission for today's deep dive? What do we want listeners to walk away with?
Well, I want to make sure that by the end of this, everyone understands not just what headless e-commerce CMS is, but also why it's such a game changer for businesses. We'll uncover the benefits, the challenges, and how it all ties into creating those amazing online shopping experiences that keep customers coming back for more.
All right, I'm hooked already.
Perfect. Now, one of the first things that struck me in this guide was the fact that despite all the hype, only a small percentage of websites are actually using headless CMS. It really made me wonder, why aren't more businesses taking advantage of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Maybe there's still some hesitation around adopting new technologies, or maybe there are misconceptions about how complex it is to actually implement.
I think you're right. There's probably a bit of both going on. But you know what? I think this actually presents a huge opportunity for those who are willing to be early adopters.
Think about it. If you can get ahead of the curve and really master this technology.
You're going to have a serious competitive edge.
Exactly. So let's start by making sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
What exactly is a traditional e-commerce CMS, and why is it so important for businesses selling online?
So think of a traditional e-commerce CMS as the engine of your online store. You know it's what powers everything behind the scenes. It's what lets you manage all your products, your inventory, process payments, and even customize the look and feel of your website to some extent.
It's basically the control panel for your entire online shop.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really powerful tool that makes it possible for anyone to run an online business without needing to be a coding expert. Okay, I'm with you so far. But now let's get to the heart of the matter. What makes headless e-commerce CMS different from this traditional setup?
All right, so imagine this. A traditional e-commerce CMS is like a pre-built house. You know it comes with its own fixed structure, and you're kind of limited in how much you can actually customize it.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
But headless, on the other hand, is like building a house from scratch. You have complete control over the design, the layout. You can choose any materials you want, and you can really create something that's completely unique to your vision.
So it's about breaking free from those cookie-cutter templates and really crafting something special.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so exciting for businesses that really want to stand out and create those unique branded experiences.
Okay, that makes sense. And if we're talking about building from scratch, doesn't that mean you need a higher level of technical expertise?
That's a valid point. And the guide does touch on the need for developers who are comfortable working with APIs and JavaScript frameworks. But, at the same time, there's also a growing number of really talented headless developers and agencies out there who specialize in this kind of work.
So it's about finding the right team to help you bring your vision to life.
Yeah, exactly. And the guide actually highlights flexibility and customization as two of the biggest benefits of going headless.
Which makes sense, given what we've been talking about. It's all about having the power to create unique shopping experiences that are tailored to specific brands and target audiences.
Right. And that's something that's becoming increasingly important in today's competitive e-commerce landscape. Customers want to feel like they're interacting with a brand that truly understands them.
They don't want to see the same generic website template being used by every other business.
Exactly. And the guide actually gives this really cool example of a company that used headless CMS to scale its online presence really quickly. They were able to launch new products and expand into international markets much faster and more efficiently than they would have been able to do with a traditional setup.
That's impressive. It sounds like headless CMS can really adapt to the growth of a business, which is crucial for any company looking to expand.
Absolutely. And that flexibility is a major advantage.
Okay, I'm sold on the flexibility and customization. But how does all of this actually impact the customer experience? How does going headless translate into a better shopping experience for the end user?
One of the most compelling aspects of headless CMS is its ability to create seamless experiences across all devices. Imagine a customer browsing your products on their smartphone, then seamlessly continuing their shopping journey on their tablet or laptop without any interruption. That kind of smooth transition is what Headless enables.
I see what you mean. It's about meeting the customer where they are and providing a consistent experience no matter what device they're using.
Exactly, and that's key for building brand loyalty and driving conversion.
Makes sense. But with all this talk about technology and frameworks, are we overlooking the content itself? The actual product descriptions, blog posts, all that stuff that helps attract customers in the first place.
Oh, not at all. The guide actually emphasizes the importance of content marketing and SEO.
Yeah.
And you know what? Headless CMS can actually help businesses create content that's both user-friendly and search engine optimized.
So it's not an either situation. You can have both engaging content and a strong technical foundation.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so powerful. But, let's get real for a moment.
Okay, sure.
Do you think Headless CMS is right for every single business out there? Or are there specific types of businesses that would benefit more from this approach?
That's a great question. And to be honest, while I do think Headless CMS offers a lot of advantages, I don't think it's necessarily a one-size-fits-all solution. Businesses with complex requirements who really prioritize the customer experience and have the resources to invest in development are definitely the ones who are going to see the biggest benefits.
Makes sense. It's all about choosing the right tool for the job.
Yeah, it's all about finding the right fit for your specific needs. But let's say a business does decide to take the plunge and implement a headless CMS. What does that process actually look like? Is it a complete overhaul, or can you kind of ease into it?
Well, the guide actually lays out a pretty clear roadmap for implementation. It emphasizes starting with a solid foundation, which means clearly defining your business needs up front, choosing the right CMS platform for your specific requirements, and making sure it plays nicely with your existing e-commerce platform.
So it's kind of like building a house, right? You got to have a solid blueprint and the right materials before you start laying bricks.
Exactly. You don't want to end up with a wonky structure. So yeah, you've got your foundation, your blueprint, so to speak, and then what?
What happens next?
Well, then you move on to planning your data model. And this is where you determine how all your data, like product information, customer details, order history, all that good stuff, is structured and stored. Think of it as creating the organizational system for your online store's inventory.
So making sure all the pieces fit together nicely and that your front end can actually access and display the data correctly.
Right. It's all about setting yourself up for success from the get-go. Okay, so you've got your foundation, your data model is all sorted out. Then what comes next?
Laying the bricks.
Well, sort of. This is where the really exciting part comes in developing the front end. This is where you get to use all those cool modern JavaScript frameworks to create a visually stunning and highly functional storefront that seamlessly integrates with your chosen CMS and e-commerce platform.
So this is where the creativity really shines through. Businesses can design those unique and engaging shopping experiences that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty complex, though. Are there any common pitfalls or challenges that businesses should be aware of during this process?
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest challenges highlighted in the guide is integrating with legacy systems. A lot of businesses have these existing systems like inventory management or CRM software that need to be able to talk to their new headless platform.
Oh yeah, that sounds like it could be a real headache if not handled properly. How can businesses make sure that transition is smooth and avoid creating these data silos?
Careful planning and thorough testing are absolutely crucial. It's like making sure all the pipes in your house are connected properly before turning on the water. You don't want any leaks or surprises down the line.
Great analogy. Speaking of potential issues, what about security and data privacy? With all these different components and APIs involved, it seems like there could be more vulnerabilities.
That's a really important point, and you're right. Headless systems can introduce new security risks if they're not properly managed. The guide really stresses the importance of working with experienced developers who prioritize security from the very beginning and implementing robust security measures throughout the entire development process.
So it sounds like security should be top of mind from day one, not an afterthought.
Exactly. It's got to be baked into the entire process. But you know what? Let's shift gears a bit and talk about what ultimately matters most, the customer experience.
Okay, yeah, that's what it's all about in the end.
Right. And the guide actually dives deep into some really actionable insights that businesses can use to enhance their online stores, regardless of whether they're using a headless CMS or not. For example, it emphasizes the importance of having a super well-optimized search bar.
It's funny how something that seems so simple can make such a big difference.
You're telling me. I can't tell you how many times I've been frustrated trying to find something specific on a website, and the search bar is either buried or just doesn't work properly. Having a prominent, user-friendly search bar can dramatically improve the customer experience.
It's all about removing those points of friction
Mm.
and making it super easy for customers to find what they need. What other actionable insights did the guide offer?
Another one that I found really interesting was how to handle out-of-stock products. Instead of just removing them from the website altogether, the guide suggests adding a Notify Me button so customers can get an alert when the item is back in stock.
Oh, that's clever.
Hmm.
It turns a potentially negative experience,
Mm-hmm.
not finding what you're looking for, into an opportunity to engage with the customer and maybe even capture their email address for future marketing.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
And speaking of email, the guide also highlights the importance of using email newsletters to nurture those customer relationships and share valuable content that keeps them coming back.
So email is still relevant, even in this world of social media and instant messaging.
Oh, absolutely. It's a direct line of communication with your most loyal customers. And then, of course, there's the content itself. The guide emphasizes the importance of creating high-quality, SEO-friendly content that not only engages your audience, but also helps drive organic traffic to your site.
It's about striking that balance between optimizing for search engines and writing content that people actually enjoy reading.
Right. You can't just stuff your content with keywords and expect it to rank well. It's got to be valuable and engaging for your target audience. And then, of course, there's navigation.
Oh yeah, you can have the best products in the world, but if people can't find them easily, they're going to get frustrated and leave.
Exactly. The guide recommends creating a clear and logical navigation structure. Well-organized menus, clear breadcrumbs, helpful filters, all those little things that make it super easy for customers to find what they're looking for.
It's like creating a roadmap for your online store. You want to guide customers seamlessly to their destination. But beyond these practical tips, what's the big picture message? What's the guide's overall take on the future of e-commerce?
The guide really emphasizes that the e-commerce landscape is constantly evolving. It's not a static thing. And those businesses that are willing to embrace innovation and adapt to the changing needs of their customers are the ones that are going to thrive. It encourages businesses to move beyond those traditional approaches and explore new technologies like Headless CMS to create those unique and personalized experiences that customers are coming to expect.
It sounds like Headless Ecommerce CMS is more than just a fleeting trend.
Yeah, it really feels like a fundamental shift, in how we approach online business.
It's about putting the customer front and center and giving businesses the tools to really create something special.
Absolutely. And you know what? The guide ends on a really thought-provoking question.
Well, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Okay, so it asks, with the power to create unique and personalized online experiences, how will you leverage Headless Ecommerce CMS to stand out from the crowd and shape the future of your online business?
Wow, that's a powerful question. It really challenges us to think about how we can use this technology to not just keep up, but to actually become leaders in the world of e-commerce.
Yeah. It's not just about following the trends, it's about setting them.
Exactly. And what's so exciting about Headless CMS is that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right. It can be adapted to fit the unique needs and goals of any business.
So whether you're a small startup or a large enterprise, there's a headless solution out there for you.
It's like having a set of building blocks that you can use to create anything you can imagine.
And the beauty of it is you're not limited by those predefined templates or structures. You have the freedom to experiment, to innovate, and to really differentiate yourself from the competition.
And that's what it's all about, right? Standing out in a crowded marketplace.
Absolutely. This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the possibilities of Headless Ecommerce CMS.
Me too. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about a whole new way of thinking about online business.
It's about breaking free from the limitations of traditional platforms and embracing a more flexible, customer-centric approach.
And I think that's a really important takeaway from our conversation today. The future of e-commerce belongs to those who are willing to innovate and adapt.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with that thought-provoking question we discussed earlier.
How will you use this technology to stand out from the crowd?
Headless e-commerce. CMS gives you the tools. The power is in your hands. Now it's up to you to build something amazing. Until next time, keep diving deep and stay curious.